Serverless computing has been around for a while, but based on the current headlines, it's still a pretty hot topic and one that has lots of room to grow. But if you're new to the idea, it can be a little bit hard to wrap your head around because how can a computing technology not have a computer? What is this whole serverless thing about? Well, let's first talk through a real-world scenario, an application that you're building. The basic flow would be that a user uploads a video, and then the application needs to do a few things. Create a small thumbnail, a large thumbnail, and an HD version of the video. And then once all that's done, the video would display on a page where users can watch it. So let's get to the idea of serverless. What does this really mean? Well, rather than saying serverless like there's no server involved at all, I think it's helpful to say that runs on a server that you don't have to buy or manage. All of the underlying work of provisioning the server, setting it up, allocating memory, you don't have to worry about any of that. The server stuff just magically happens in the background. So it runs on a server that you don't have to buy or manage. But what runs exactly? Well, for a lot of serverless technologies, it's code, a piece of code like a chunk of JavaScript or Python or .NET. Yes, there are serverless technologies for databases and containers and other things, but let's stick with the example of running code. And because a lot of what I do here on the channel is AWS, this is AWS Lambda, the service that we're talking about. But other cloud providers have similar services too for running code serverlessly. So code that runs on a server that you don't buy or manage. But when does it run? Well, it runs in response to some event. Like an image gets uploaded to an S3 bucket, or there's a change in a DynamoDB table, for example, if you're in AWS. Those events will trigger your code to run and do its thing. And just to wrap up this definition section here, some people suggest that a better name for AWS Lambda in particular would be AWS scripts or functions, if that helps you understand a little bit better what they do. So small pieces of code doing a specific thing on a server that you don't have to set up and manage. So back to the scenario from earlier, how would serverless computing help us here? Well, these three tasks in the middle are perfect for serverless. And again, in AWS, these are Lambda functions, or in Azure, these are Azure functions, Google Cloud, these are Google Cloud functions, but we upload a video to a storage bucket, and that's going to trigger these functions to run. One function will create the small thumbnail, one will create a large thumbnail, and one will create an HD version of the video. And when you architect your applications this way, there are several benefits. The first is that it really forces you to structure your code in a way that's modular. So you've got these short scripts that do just a single thing. Which leads to another benefit. You can fine-tune the amount of memory a function needs, which can help you optimize performance while also reducing costs. You don't need a dedicated server that just runs all the time. Instead, you're just charged for that short amount of time that the function runs. And kind of going back to the first point of each function does just a single thing, this usually means that your applications support parallel processing, meaning you can do 100 things at a time when you need to, and at whatever point you need to do 1,000,000 things at a time, the underlying compute power can support that, and it's all handled for you. Then when you need to scale down to do just 100 things at a time again, all of that is possible as well. So scaling up and scaling down is a breeze. So that's a quick explainer about serverless computing and some of its benefits. If you want to learn more about AWS Lambda in particular and build out your first Lambda function, then check out this other video here. Thanks so much for watching.